Welcome back to Spartan Theology. It's been a while since I made a video here, but I'm back. And I'm going to be doing similar to what I left off doing with my critical apologetics review, and just hoping to kind of keep it going. I really enjoyed making those videos. I think people enjoyed watching them. I hope I can help people who are kind of thinking through some of these topics, maybe like, I'm not too sure about what these people like Mike Winger or Frank Turek or William Lane Craig or any of these number of popular Christian personalities and ministries and apologetic content people, mainly on YouTube, but some articles and books is what I'm going to be talking about. But yeah, I just offer my more critical perspective on things, and yeah, that's kind of it. So if that sounds interesting to you, kind of thinking through these topics with critical thinking, definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment on the video are the best ways you can help while you're just watching the video right here. And if you want to take it one step further, you can share the video with someone you like, and because that's the best way to kind of directly help me get more eyes on my video, which is what I'm kind of hoping to do. But I just enjoy making these, so if you enjoy watching them, thank you for being here. And so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a cross-examined, which is Frank Turek's ministry, super popular, about 500,000 subscribers. This video we're going to be watching today was just posted 9 days ago, has 13,000 views. So a lot of people are like this kind of stuff. That it's not Frank Turek, it's his ministry, but this Melissa Doherty. People like what she's saying, and to put it lightly, I don't. And not that I just disagree with everything I don't like. I don't want to sound like that. But I have a lot of thoughts on why her argument she offers here is not a good one. We'll put it that way. And if you're familiar with my channel, you probably won't be surprised that the first video to kind of kick things back off is on universalism. A topic that I talk about a lot, and a lot of evangelicals get super, super wrong. So I always have a lot to say when they sort of critique universalism. But with that said, let's kind of get right into the video, start kind of playing it. I'm sure you know how these things go. We kind of play the video, pause, offer some of my thoughts, and I have a lot to say, but I just want to let her speak a little bit so you can kind of be familiar with, what I'm critiquing. Obviously, we'll let her speak first, and we'll go from there. So, like I said, let's get this thing going, and thank you for being here.
I've been thinking about universalism and researching it a bit lately, and I had a thought occur to me in this research that I would like to share with you. Now, there are all kinds of different beliefs about universalism and what it entails. Some believe in a God of some kind outside of Christianity that is open and affirming to all, no matter what their beliefs are, and we will all ultimately be in this perfect place after death. In Christian universalism, in the afterlife, there is a sort of second chance of sorts where eventually everyone will be reconciled to God, or when we die, we'll just go straight to heaven no matter what. The idea is that...
Yeah, so I think that's a bit of glossing over and making universalism sound not well thought out and, very rigorous of a understanding of the afterlife, but there's a lot to it. And I mean, while some of the things she says are kind of parts of my view where I definitely believe that, you don't have to understand Christianity in this life before you die to be saved. I mean, there's different ways of cashing this out, whether it's, a second chance, or when you die, you're face to face with God and you finally realize, and all that technicality stuff. I'm not exactly sure how I have it worked out. I don't want to talk about it here because I'll just kind of bog down the beginning. But just to say, there are different understandings, and the way she's kind of painting it as this super simple, easy to look at and say that doesn't make sense is not. I mean, like I said, I didn't mention it here, but I've mentioned it before. And read someone like David Bentley Hart, Thomas Talbot, Robin Perry, Father Aidan Kimmel, who just came out with a great book on universalism that I've been reading. And you'll realize that it's not so simple like she's kind of painting it. But I don't want to talk about that too much. Let's kind of get into the meat of the argument of this video, which I think holds little to no weight. So, yeah, hold on.
That whoever rejects God here when they die and they are experiencing God's love, it will be overwhelming for them and they will not be able to resist it. This is the premise of a book called Love Wins by progressive pastor Rob Bell. Though I don't believe that Rob Bell would call himself a universalist, It's an interesting omission considering his belief allows for humans to ultimately be reconciled to God no matter what their beliefs are. It sounds a lot like universalism to me, but I digress. Now,
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why you would cite a book in your video that's an argument against universalism where the author doesn't say he's a universalist. Like I already mentioned, David Bentley Hart, Thomas Talbot, Robin Perry, Father Aidan Kimmel, and there's many, many other. I mean, church fathers like Gregory of Nyssa and Origen, but I'm talking about more contemporary theologians. But they're explicitly universalists. Their books defend universalism, explain universalism. Why don't you talk about something like that? Not Rob Bell's book, which is written for a much more popular audience and isn't even explicitly universalist. So yeah, I'm not sure why she cites that, but I am sure because it was a popular book that a lot of evangelicals know to hate. So you're going to mention that to kind of give yourself some credit in the video. Like, oh, we're hating on this guy. I know that's a good thing for a lot of evangelicals think that way. So, I mean, I'm not going to, like, ascribe motive to what she's doing, but that seems like it to me, and that seemed kind of dishonest. So that kind of, like, where I was like, okay, let me offer my thoughts on this argument that she is about to put forward, because she's being somewhat just, I think making a video like this that gets, like, I already mentioned, but, like, 13,000 views in 9 days, where the basis of what you're critiquing, calling universalism, the author doesn't even say is universalism. It's kind of rough, so I don't know. So I think it's good to offer some critical thoughts towards the argument she's about to put forward.
now, taken far enough, the concept of universalism teaches that ultimate reconciliation is possible for all humans and even for Satan and the demons. This is my point that I would like to ponder. Now,
yeah, so as far as Satan and the demons go, if you want to understand my view and some of like the way I think about it, I mean, check out Apocalypse Here, like I already mentioned, but it was like 2 or 3 podcasts ago. We did one with me, John, and his wife Laura, and we all talked about Satan and demons and kind of understanding that. Even my wife Trish was on that one, actually. I kind of forgot. And yeah, we talked a lot about the nature of these things. And so, yeah, so it kind of comes down to what you understand, what you understand Satan and the demons are, what their nature is, what they're like, whether or not they ultimately are reconciled or maybe they're destroyed in the end. But it's not, there's different ways of thinking about this from universalism. But even if you want to take the view, which I probably honestly do, that Satan and the demons, I don't know. I don't even want to say that because, like I said, it comes down to what you think they are, and I think there's a lot of study I would need to do before I really took a view. But if you hold a view that they are ultimately redeemed, you're gonna have a view that they're like more like persons, like me and you, but they're immaterial, spiritual, but they're like act sort of like us, like a soul you could think of. And if that's the case, then just like a human sinner can be saved, it seems likely that they can be redeemed and reconciled too. So it's not as crazy as she thinks, but from the typical understanding where Satan is just pure evil all the time, that doesn't make sense. But if that's the case, there's a number of ways that her argument breaks down, but we'll get into that more. But I just wanted to offer that right off the bat, that this, whether or not you think Satan and the demons are ultimately saved, comes down to what you think there are and how they act, like how that all works. So it's not everybody holds the same view, even among universalists.
now I know that many people watching already have a pretty orthodox view of hell, but
Yeah, and I just have to, I didn't want to stop it so quick, but most people have a pretty orthodox view of hell. What does that mean? And from her perspective, that definitely means eternal conscious torment. But throughout all church history, there's been 3 views about hell, whether it be eternal conscious torment, they're just the typical, if you haven't thought about it much, but you probably think of hell where, people are there eternally suffering in hell. But there's also annihilationism, where people who reject God fully in the end are just ultimately destroyed and are just cease to exist. And then there's universalism. All 3 of those views have always existed throughout church history. So don't just throw out this word orthodox like a lot of evangelicals will want to claim. that their view is orthodox when that's just not the way to use orthodox for sure. So.
I'm actually really surprised how many people and Christians believe that even the devil and the demons will be saved. I have to wonder about the logic of this.
So she admits right off the bat that she doesn't even understand how that makes sense. So if you come across something, and I do this for myself, I come across something and I say, that makes no sense, that's obviously false. You should know that's false right off the bat. Like she's kind of claiming this whole idea of Satan and the demons being saved is, there must be a different understanding. There must be somewhere along that line you're not following the person's logic. So in what I'm doing kind of in this video, where I'm playing what she's saying and kind of critiquing it, offering my thoughts, why wouldn't she find someone who actually espouses this view and lay it out, not just say, that's crazy, basically, and let me think about how I can, like, make an argument against something I don't even understand. I mean, that's not the way you do theology. I'm sorry.
One of my favorite things to do is to think things through to see how it would look in reality, to its logical conclusion. And led to its logical conclusion, I have to say that it's not love that wins, but Satan. Let's think this through.
What?
Satan has rebelled and caused untold horror and harm, sometimes in the name of tolerance and love, but, again, I digress. And
I'm not quite sure. I've watched this a few times and heard her say that, like, sometimes in the name, and I guess I think what she's saying, because she's kind of taking a jab at, like, I don't know. I don't even want to, like, assume what she means here, but, like, if something's done in love, how is it evil? I don't know. I don't really know what she was getting at there, but I'm just going to kind of let that play. But if you heard that and you weren't too sure what she was getting at, I'm not either. So.
In the name of tolerance and love, but, again, I digress. And how is he going to get out of this? If the logic is that God's love is so great that even the demons and Satan himself are redeemable, then that makes it where Satan has ultimately won because of the cross, not God. I say that he's able to...
Yeah, I know exactly what I want to say, but I think I'm going to let her, like, really explain her argument, because I think she's making a really simple to see, just fundamental error in reasoning here, where just straight off the bat, like, if Satan is pure evil and, like, so evil he can't even be redeemed, like, God just, no, he can't be redeemed, then how does he win if he is redeemed? Like, so if he's pure evil, but yet he's still redeemed, God, like, say, I think in her view, kind of what I'm getting is, like, God just, like, says, you know what, time's up, boom, you're not evil anymore, and does whatever he has to do, but redeems Satan. Satan would feel terrible about all the things that he did, all the evil that he done, and it's not like he's still exactly, like, to think he's still exactly the same person, like, yes, I got away with it without any punishment. I think being redeemed for someone as evil as Satan, the way she's describing it, would be the ultimate, like, reversal. Like, he loses completely because everything he thought he accomplished in life is all fixed. But the way she's painting it, like, oh, yes, like, Satan's like, yes, I got away with it. I don't see how that really makes any sense. But like I said, I want to let her explain a little more. But that's my thoughts right off the bat. Like, yeah, I think, yeah, there's some fundamental errors in reasoning.
To take advantage of the love of God, to rebel in untold horrors, and in the end, be redeemed. This is actually even loosely based on a TV show called Lucifer. Lucifer Morningstar is the name of the character. And in the end...
Yeah, I've never seen this show, and I don't know what that has to do with anything that someone made a show, like, similar to what she's making up in her head. Like, yeah.
And Lucifer is redeemed, and he's the good guy. In this view...
How's he the good guy? Like, being redeemed doesn't mean that, like, you're the good guy. It means all the wrong you've ever done is fixed, and you're fixed. You're not this evil person anymore. Satan wouldn't be this evil person anymore. He wouldn't be like, yes, I'm so glad I got away with it. He would be in like perfect relationship with God and never want to do anything evil, have no desire for evil at all. So if he like remembered like all these evil things I did, it would be horrible. And he would not like that at all. So I don't know how he wins. Like, I think clearly God wins. Love wins. Not evil. Evil is destroyed. That's the whole point. There's no more evil. All evil is redeemed.
View of universalism, the devil wasn't beaten, but redeemed. He's eventually off the hook. And
how is redeemed any different than beaten? If you were evil, redeemed means you were made good. Therefore, your evil lost.
More people are attracted to the theology in this fictional show than they would be in a God that is actually just and fair. Some teach that universalism or ultimate reconciliation.
They throw out this word just and fair. We've talked about this on the podcast too, and I'm not going to go too much into it, but they just really like to press on that word justice. But they know it conjures up in most people listening to this are, American or Western people for sure. So they're going to conjure up in their head the legal justice system. And that's not the same view of justice that God has. And we've talked about this. I'm not going to go too much into it. Again, I don't mean to keep pressing it. I just want to kind of be direct about what this video is because I plan to do more videos. But yeah, so just she throws out that word justice, but universalism definitely believes in justice.
Means that we eventually will be reunited with God no matter what because of his love. Jesus died for everyone, past, present, and future, and this is taken quite literally to mean everyone. So
yes, one of the first things she really got right. Yes, literally, Jesus died for everyone. Don't know why that's surprising or hard to believe, but that's what universalism says, and that's what I believe for sure.
Satan is kicked out of heaven. How's he going to get back in? How's he going to get redemption?
If he's pure evil, he doesn't want back in. So redeeming him is not like giving the evil guy what he wants.
He'd need to be saved along with the rest of humanity by the crucifixion. And I'm not saying that any of this is biblical, guys. I'm just following through with the logic of this belief. This means that he would need the crucifixion to happen for him to be saved. From the apple in the garden to Judas, with this perspective, this implies that Satan can be given some credit for the crucifixion, therefore the salvation of humanity, including himself and the demons. In this way,
that part of the argument too just like blew my mind, because no matter what you believe, unless you are like a Christian who believes no one is saved, like if one person is saved, that person, I guess we're using her logic, can thank Satan and Judas and Pontius Pilate and the Romans who stabbed Jesus with the spear, can thank all those people for killing Jesus because that's what led to the atonement and the crucifixion and the resurrection. But that's obviously not the way it works. But this has nothing to do with, like, it's no different on universalism or non-universalism. I mean, if someone's saved, I guess they can thank the evil people who killed Jesus. But, I mean, I think we all understand why that's, not the case. That's not the way it works. Like, this was the plan. People did evil things, but God used it for good.
He's able to get what he wants all around. What a twist. He's able to play a...
Yeah, see, she says he gets what he wants. But no, he doesn't. If he wanted to be in heaven, especially under her view, where like Satan is like this angel that was in heaven, if he wanted to be in heaven, why don't you just stay there?
Part in so many horrendous evil schemes in the Bible, including Judas's betrayal, and is able to set in motion the events that led up to the resurrection and the redemption of mankind. Do I even need to express what a pile of garbage this belief is?
Yes, because how is it any different than what any saved person could say about Judas and Pontius Pilate and all the evil people who killed Jesus? How is it any different? just because it's universalism. That's my biggest takeaway. Well, the biggest takeaway is, how is it any different as far as like thanking the evil people? And why are you saying Satan gets what he wants? Because clearly he doesn't. He wants evil, right? Isn't that the whole point of who Satan is? So I just don't think this makes any sense. And if I seem fired up, it's because I kind of am. Because I care about this topic. And I see a video like this with 19,000 views in 9 days. And I see universalism just being trashed when I kind of bring it up on Twitter or some of my videos, the things people say. And it's kind of sad that, like, a video like this, which, like, the reasoning, if you just give it 5 minutes and think about what she's saying, like, clearly makes no sense. And then a view like universalism, just like, oh, that's obviously not true. When it's been, it's a historical view. It's throughout all church history. It's biblical. There's plenty in the Bible to support universalism. The theology makes, I think, the most sense, but it definitely is a coherent theological perspective. So for her to paint it like this and be able to make just like a ridiculous argument, that if I made an argument like this against, typical evangelical doctrines and whatnot, they would shoot it down instantly, and I would expect them to, because this is just a fallacious, just non-argument. I mean, it just really doesn't make any sense. But it was a pretty short video, and yeah, so if you enjoyed that, and kind of these videos, there'll be more to come. So like I said, subscribe to the channel and you'll see more on the way. But like I said, thank you for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, definitely thank you, because that's the best. Like, that's another really great way. It's actually watching the video all the way to the end. So when you watch my videos, watch them all the way to the end. No, do whatever you want, but I appreciate you being here for this one.
This is a gross distortion of God.
Yeah, I don't know why I accidentally played a little more, but I'm seriously out of here.